Hello, this is Billy Joe Saunders, WBO middleweight champion of the world. Subscribe to Sporting Icons to stay in touch with all the top news. God bless you all.
As you'd all be aware, 2 weeks ago, Triple G was supposed to have the rematch with Saul Canelo Alvarez. Canelo subsequently failed the VADA test in the PED test. So, with 2.5 weeks left to go, Triple G needed a new opponent, ended up choosing Vans Martirosyan and demolished him, to be honest. Well, I say demolished. First round you could probably give to Martirosyan, to be fair, if you really wanted to. But ultimately, Triple G went to town on him and stopped him. Now, that fight in itself is currently in America, or stateside even, the highest viewed fight of 2018. So that particular fight, Triple G against Martirosyan, outdid Wilder vs Ortiz. How that happened, I have no idea. To be perfectly honest, I don't know. It's not the kind of fight that you'd be up for and excited for, right? But still, it was. Now, since then, obviously, there's like a lot of talk about who Triple G could potentially be facing next. And for a lot of people, they'll probably say it's going to be Canelo, because Canelo was banned, but they backdated it just in time, so when his ban ends, he can then fight again in September. Obviously, he only ever fights in May and September. This is Canelo, and it's always in Vegas, right? Because it's the Mexican holidays. So it wasn't really a ban, was it? They didn't do anything to him. They just made it look like it on paper. But Canelo has, of course, after refusing to enter the WBC clean boxing program, has now entered it, okay? Now, would he be fighting Triple G next? It's difficult to say, because at this point, Canelo would have been out of the ring for a year, and maybe he wants a bit of a tune-up before he gets back in with Triple G. Maybe he doesn't fancy his chances against Triple G. Maybe he does, I don't know. But for me, I think Triple G is just after paydays at the minute. And I don't blame him, to be honest. At his time of life, or his stage of his career, I should say, he's not an old man in life, but in boxing, he's getting on a bit now. He's, what, 34 years old now, is he? So, big paydays are important now, okay? For us, I would imagine most people would love to see him fight Billy Joe Saunders for the Undisputed. Billy Joe Saunders is going to be fighting soon against Martin Murray, which is a postponed fight and now rescheduled at the O2 Arena. So we would love that one. Now, that fight is not off the table. Of course it's not. But hopefully that is the fight that we get. For me, a rematch with Triple G and Canelo after everything that went on, I was looking forward to the rematch to a point, but I wasn't pumped about it. I wasn't, because I always feel that with when Canelo's fighting, there's going to be some rogue judges, refereeing, all that kind of thing, and I just don't trust it. Now, I don't know if there is rogue and it's just incidental or coincidental even, but for me, I always feel that I'm watching something that is like a WWE play. It's going to be pre-scripted, but the opponent doesn't know it's going to be. That's kind of how I feel. So a rematch with Canelo, I'm just not feeling it. I have to be honest. If they set it up for September, I'll probably go, meh, I'm not really bothered, to be honest. But maybe nearer the time, I might get a bit more excited. As I said, Billy Joe Saunders would be a great one. Jamal Charlo, he's only had 2 fights at 160 and the mandatory for the WBC. Again, that's boxing politics. Al Heyman, you know, he likes the WBC, like Bob Arum loves the WBO. And Frank Warren loves the WBO as well, of course. But would Jamal Charlo be of interest? How much money would that generate? I don't know. I really don't know. Jamal Charlo will probably want a lot of money, but being the WBC mandatory, I think he'll only get, was it 30% or 35%, I think? I'm not exactly sure of the figure. So he probably wouldn't get the kind of money that he wants, but would he really accept the fight with Triple G? Again, we don't know. But that would certainly be a fight of interest for, especially in America, for us in the UK, Billy Joe Saunders. For those in Mexico, it will be Canelo. So he certainly has options. But looking through some of the potential opponents right now and what people are talking about and some of the headlines on social media and boxing news articles and what have you, they've pulled out the name of RYOTA MURATA, who is the WBA regular champion. So at some point, he's going to have to fight him anyway. But this seems to be, if you was to believe some of the reports, the front runner in RYOTA MURATA. He's a Japanese fighter, 32 years old, and as I said, he's the WBA regular champion. And I can see him taking this fight. I really can. If the Canelo fight doesn't happen, and if they can't come to a mutual ground with Billy Joe Saunders. So would he go Charlo or Murata? Financially, which is why I said that he needs as much money now as possible, as in he wants to try and build as much money as he can before he calls it a day. And Murata would certainly be the way to go. He'd certainly get more money fighting Murata, especially if they went to Japan. And I heard Bob Arum saying that he would like to put that fight on in Japan as pay-per-view. So that will probably tell you how popular Murata is in Japan. He's only had 15 fights and lost one of them. But that one loss, it was a split decision, and in the very next fight, he got revenge and made his opponent quit. So he has beaten everybody he's been in the ring with, but he's still only 15 fights. You could consider that a novice. That would be like Anthony Yard, who's currently had 15 fights, going up against Sergey Kovalev. It's that kind of gap. But how good Murata would be against Triple G, it's hard to say. He's got very decent power. Out of his 14 wins, he's knocked out, or at least stopped, 11 of those. So he's certainly got something. He's very, very popular in Japan. And for Bob Arum to say that he wants it in pay-per-view in Japan would show how popular Murata is. Added to the fact that you're putting Triple G in there as well, who is a global superstar, right? That's big pay-per-view numbers. Would he get pay-per-view for Charlo? Probably not. But it is kind of a pay-per-view worthy fight, to be honest. Triple G against Charlo, it is. I really do. Against Billy Joe Saunders, he may get more money fighting Billy Joe Saunders if he was to come to the UK, because here in the UK it would be pay-per-view, stateside obviously not. So it's difficult to say, but Murata is a certainty for some decent money, no doubt about it, and a very winnable fight, you would imagine. But obviously Murata is going to have a very, very good backing in Japan. Now, for Bob Arum to say that he wants this on pay-per-view, upon reading this, I can only presume that Murata is a top-ranked fighter, right? If he's not, then what's it got to do with Bob Arum? So, yeah, I guess he is. So, I didn't know that until I'm reading some of this stuff now. He is ranked number 1 in Japan for middleweight, of course. I don't know if he's more popular than the likes of Inoue. I'm not too sure, to be honest. But either way, for these guys to put it on in pay-per-view in Japan, clearly he's very, very popular. Obviously in Japan they love the boxing, especially the lower weights as well. So to have a middleweight who's very, very good, it's got to get them very, very excited. So it will be interesting, very, very interesting. I don't know too much about Murata, I have to be honest. But, you know, just looking at his record shows he's pretty damn good. But who's he been in there with? Nobody that really stands out, to be fair. But that doesn't mean he's not a legitimate test for Triple G. Triple G could go over there and this Murata could be the real deal and blast out Triple G, right? It could happen. So this is one option for Triple G. If he wants guaranteed purse, guaranteed money, as in a lot of money, Murata would certainly be the way to go. A fight with Billy Joe Saunders in the UK would certainly be the way to go. And obviously a rematch with Canelo. So I think Charlo is probably bottom of the pile when it comes to financial sense. You would imagine. But as I said, I think Triple G versus Charlo, that might be a fight that may be stateside. They may do pay-per-view for. I don't know. I don't know how popular Charlo is. I mean, I can only judge by what I see on YouTube. And he does have a lot of fans. So why not? Why not at least give it a go? But ultimately, it would appear, going by most articles, that Murata is the front runner to be fighting Triple G next over in Japan. So I'm not going to hate on that fight at all. Not at all. I wasn't keen on him fighting Martirosyan, but I understood the fact that he only had 2.5 weeks. So people say he's ducking Charlo. Well, there is no way Charlo was going to fight Triple G in 2.5 weeks' notice, was there? Devrichenko, maybe he would have done, but awkward fighter. So maybe with only 2.5 weeks, maybe he wanted a bit more money than what Triple G could provide. Because obviously he changed it from Vegas to California, right? So, I don't know. I mean, as I said, I weren't too keen on the Martirosyan fight, but I understood why. But now he has all the time in the world to schedule a fight with whoever. Hopefully Billy Joe Saunders, that's my preference. I don't particularly want to be seeing him fighting Canelo, but financially, I understand why. And obviously, Murata, financially, I understand why. And the fact that he's WBA regular champion. So at some point, these two have to fight. Derevyanchenko, how well would that go? I don't know. Has that fight been ordered yet? Don't know. I'm really not sure. So if the fight has been ordered, then obviously he's going to have to fight Derevyanchenko, right? We know the WBC haven't ordered Triple G versus Charlo as of today. So I don't know. It's interesting times, but I'm getting that name out there for you. RYOTA Murata seems to be, or sorry, Murata even, seems to be the front runner to be fighting Triple G next on pay-per-view over in Japan for, obviously, a crap load of money. Drop your thoughts below, click that thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.